So as you engage the core muscles, that's going to help for you to start to bring yourself back out of that forward fold position, starting with the low back that is coming out of that rounded positioning that it was in. You're stacking the spine bone by bone. Feel the core working to take you out of that flexion and bring you up. Shoulders stay down. They're going to come up when it's time for them to lift. So don't let them shrug toward the ears. They're upright. And then the head is the last thing to plant back up against that imaginary wall. So hey everyone, it's Rashida and Marshall. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If it's your first time, welcome. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. And for those who are returning, as I say in every video, thank you. I appreciate you, and I hope you enjoy what I have for you today. So we are going to take it into a quick tutorial video, and in this one, we're going to be talking about how to perform roll downs and some things that you want to think about when you're going through this movement. So this is one that I put into basically all my Pilates routines, stretch routines as well, most of them. And I work on this movement often when I'm working with my Pilates clients. So roll downs are a wonderful movement to allow for us to be more aware and mindful of our postural alignment. It can be great for making sure that the abdominals or the deep core muscles are working as they should be to help us stay upright, helps to ensure that we keep our pelvis in its neutral positioning, helps with our breathing. It's just really good for the body. And it's also really good to do if you need just a quick breather or a quick break. So we're just going to talk about some things that you want to think about when you are preparing to go into your roll down, some things that you want to think about as you're performing it, and ways that you can add just a little bit of variation and modifications to them. So you want to start first with your feet rooted down, and I like to think of when getting set, making sure all edges of the feet are firmly rooted on the ground, so you're even and evenly distributed. So now you want to also think of your hips being over the heels, and this plays a big part in us maintaining our neutral alignment. So when we have the hips over the heels, this is ensuring that we just have that natural curvature in the spine, okay? So when we are out of this natural curvature, that's normally when the pelvis is tilted forward or back. So when you are in your neutral, the abdominals are working, especially the deep abdominal muscles known as the transverse abdominis. That's going to help to stabilize the pelvis, and that helps for us to be better able to identify and stay in our neutral position, okay? So now when you're getting ready to go into the roll down, you have the heels rooted down, and I like to, when I'm starting, just kind of lift the toes once I start to go down, just so I know my weight's staying back. You can bring them down once you feel comfortable. So now the hands are heavy. Imagine that you're up against a wall, all right? Now you're gonna peel the spine off of that wall. The first thing that would come off would be the head. So you can use an exhale to bring chin to chest, all right? And you're continuing to peel away from the wall. Now the shoulders are moving away. Now the hips aren't shifting forward and they're not shifting back. You're keeping them over the heels as you begin to go down. All right, the middle back is peeling away from that imaginary wall, the lower back, and you're just letting upper body be heavy. The arms are heavy, the head is heavy. Gravity is doing its thing as you go down towards the ground. Now, as you're going into this roll down, if you feel that your hamstrings are really tight, you can always put a soft bend in the knees, and that is a nice way to just kind of relieve any of that tension. And sometimes this is just a good way in general to help get into the movement a little more comfortably. All right, so depending on how far you go, maybe you're just hovered above the feet, maybe your fingers are pretty much close to or even touching the ground. And now we're going to start to bring ourselves back up. So I want you to get into those deep abdominal muscles. I really want you to feel them working. They're pulling in towards center. You're pulling the belly button in towards the spine. So as you engage the core muscles, that's going to help for you to start to bring yourself back out of that forward fold position, starting with the low back that is coming out of that rounded positioning that it was in. You're stacking the spine bone by bone. Feel the core working to take you out of that flexion and bring you up. Shoulders stay down. They're going to come up when it's time for them to lift. So don't let them shrug toward the ears. They're upright. And then the head is the last thing to plant back up against that imaginary wall. So that's a really helpful way to think about where you are in space and what you want to look like, right? If you were up against a wall, you can try to picture that. So let's go ahead and do one more. When you're ready, chin to chest, exhale. The core is still working here as well too. All right, it's helping to control that release down towards the ground. So feel that engagement. Try to tap in and just kind of connect to the abdominal muscles. Continue folding. All right, soft bend in the knees. All right, that also helps to make sure we don't lock the legs and just press back and lose the work of the quad muscles. So you still want everything working. Now, once you're here, you can go into a gentle sway. I like to add this in as you kind of sway from left to right. And then sometimes it also feels good to put a deeper bend in the knees, maybe let the hands sweep behind the legs as you hold it there. And now let's go ahead and release that. If you went into that with me, hands are back, just where they were. Pull the belly in, begin to inhale. Bone by bone, we're coming back upright. The weight is still in the heels. All right, shoulders stay down, away from the ears. And then the head is the last thing to come up. And you want to feel as though you've gotten taller as you lift. Keep the shoulders drawn down. Just lifting through the top of the head. Go ahead and take another inhale here. And exhale. And we are done. Out of our roll down, up from our roll down. So that is it. Just wanted to share some tips and cues and advice when you are performing your roll down and things that are helpful, ways that I help to really visualize the movement when I'm going into it, and things that I like to share with my clients. I think roll down is a great one. It's a staple movement that you can add into your wellness regimen, and it feels really good, and it's going to be amazing for your posture when you are performing it on a regular and consistent basis. So thank you all so much for watching and for moving with me, and until next time, you all have a good one. Bye.